The student standardized tests, the field observations, and student teaching all require the student to provide their own transportation to those events. If a student doesn't have a car, then they need to find someone who does have a car and who can take them on a regular basis. They also need gas to power that car, and they need to take into account the travel time. For example, it is possible for Milena to be sent all the way to McKeesport to student teach. That is 30 miles one way, 60 miles round trip, every single day. And that's a lot of gas, a lot of mileage on her car, and a lot of odd expenses. Now, we get into some misconceptions, just a couple misconceptions about teachers. The first misconception that I hear a lot of people say is, well, they get summers off, so they only work 9 months out of the year. When in fact, teachers are required to attend curriculum meetings, development workshops, and self-reflections. The curriculum meetings consist of basically what you teach. So during the summer, the teacher has to go back, plan the entire year, every single day of what they're going to teach. They have to plan that and get that ready for the upcoming year. Developmental workshops, basically what that is a couple of seminars, usually about 4 or 5 seminars, about 5 hours each, consist of improvement techniques. So basically how to engage the student, how to further enhance their learning experience. And the biggest area that is required for teachers to do over the summer, because that's when they have the most free time, is self-reflections. And now that's not something that you go to a workshop or you go to a seminar and it's timed. Basically, self-reflections could be a 24/7 deal over the summer. They have to constantly reflect. Okay, what am I doing? Are my students getting good grades? Are they paying attention in class? Are they growing better as a person? And that can take a lot of time to truly take a step back from the classroom, dig down deep, and realize, okay, I need to step it up, or I'm not going to have a job. My students aren't going to learn, and I'll be looking for a job somewhere else. Now, I'm going to read a quote from, never mind, she's using my phone so I can't read that quote. But basically the quote I was going to read was a friend of mine that I mentioned before, who's a teacher for 10 years. Basically, I reached out to her and asked her for her opinion on some of the misconceptions that she deals with. And one of the most common things that's thrown her way from parents that she has to correct their child. The parents always throw her way. Well, teachers are lazy. Teachers have summer off. They get breaks off. This, and that. And she wants all of you to realize that the teachers, there's a lot of planning. There's a lot of time outside of the classroom that it takes to become a teacher. They have to teach values, morals, and they also have to discipline their child. They're basically doing what parents do. And if that child is not being correctly developed at home, then they have even more work to do. And I won't even go into special needs children. That's a whole other topic. And that requires a lot of patience, a lot of individualized planning for that specific person that teacher must do. Now, there was a study done a few years back, involved 2 girls. The one girl, there was 2 girls. The one girl's family constantly put down her teacher, constantly badmouth. So when the child would come home from school, she wanted to talk about her day. They constantly badmouthed the teacher, and in turn, it made her dislike school. She was not excited to go to school. She didn't want to learn, and it created a negative experience for her at school. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, there was a family who praised their teacher, who encouraged her to go to school, encouraged the teacher's teaching strategies, and basically created a positive atmosphere for the child and their teacher. So she was excited to go to school, and she was excited to learn, and she enjoyed asking questions in class because she wanted to be there. Now, at this point, I want all of you to visualize someday you having children of your own. And based off of this study, it's pretty clear what a positive atmosphere and a negative atmosphere can do for your child. How would you all feel that your child came home from school, wanted to talk to you about school, and you constantly badmouth the teacher? Don't be that parent. Don't create that negative atmosphere for your child, because school is very important to develop your child. Now, to conclude all of this, I want you all to do a huge favor for me. I want each and every one of you to go home on Christmas break, when you have some free time, whenever you're hanging out with your friends or family members, and ask them their opinion on teachers. And whether that's a negative opinion about them, whether it's a positive opinion about them, it doesn't really matter. But if you could, relay some information, any information at all that I've talked about. It doesn't have to be everything. You can talk about the student observations, the field observations and the student teaching that's required, all the transportation that's required to do these things. You could talk about the PAPAs and the PECs that they have to study on top of doing their homework, on top of doing their class, and on top of doing presentations and speeches like this. And basically what that will do is that'll give your friends an opportunity to make an informed decision about about teachers and about how they feel about teachers. Whether it's positive or negative, you don't have to change their mind, but you can give them the opportunity to have an informed decision. And that's it. Is there any questions that any of you all have for me this evening?
What's your opinion on tenure?
Tenure?
Yeah, I hear a lot of people argue about that there's bad teachers that shouldn't be teaching anymore, but since they have tenure, they can't fire them.
Right. Tenure is a touchy subject. A lot of times you're required to get your master's or a higher education to become tenure. And there are ways to fire that teacher. However, the school is hesitant to do that because the teacher is so highly qualified. They have their undergrad, they have their master's. They usually have about 10 years experience under their belt. They're taking the word of a couple of students that might have a problem or an issue with that teacher. But however, I've witnessed teachers being reprimanded or being on probation or something like that because they just, quite frankly, got lazy, got demotivated for whatever reason that may be. Thought that because they're tenured, they can get away with it. There are avenues that you can pursue. Anybody else? All right. Well, that's it. Thank you all for coming.